Hi, I'm Connor Leverton, and my topic that I chose and what I'm going to be presenting on is ethnic groups' contribution to South Africa's cuisine. So, first, I'm going to go over a little bit of the history of South Africa. So, prior to Dutch settlers landing in South Africa in 1652, South Africa was a land where hunters and gatherers, known as the Khoisan, inhabited various parts all over South Africa. South Africa became a British colony until 1961, which was when it became fully independent. During the 1960s, it was a time of brutal white and black segregation, which was forced by the white government in power. Eventually, South Africa had a very peaceful transition to the new democratic state with one of the world's most progressive constitutions. Today, with the diversity of the people in its borders, it is known as the Rainbow Nation. Then for the map, you can see it's south of Botswana, at the very bottom of the continent Africa, which is why it's called South Africa. And then the reason why I chose this topic is because I found this country so interesting because it has so many different ethnic groups, which means there's a lot of different ethnic cuisines. And I was just so interested to see how the people come together and unite over food and celebrate their differences, just come together as one as a country. For geography and climate, the climate in South Africa ranges from desert and semi-desert in the northwest to subtropical on the east coast. So as you can see in the top picture, that's going to be the semi-desert part in the northwest of the country, and the bottom one's going to be more of the east coast tropical kind of side of the country. And then in the mid to late September through April is their warmer period, but you can still expect it to rain a little bit. There's still some seasonal rainfall during the summer. And then even during the cold seasons when it will rarely get below 60, so you're always going to expect kind of nice weather. You know what you're going to get. It could be a good tourist destination and honestly probably a great place to live. And then the seasonal rains in the summer actually promote growth of the staple crops like maize and sorghum. And then the diversity of ecosystems support a variety of game animals which are integral to the diets in rural areas. The availability of all this game influences local hunting practices and culinary traditions. So with the surplus of all these game animals, they're very rich on their traditions, and there's very many animals they can hunt and gather, and which makes for such diverse food in the country. All right. Now I'm going to go over the different ethnic groups in South Africa and how they've contributed to the cuisine overall in South Africa. So the first group I'd like to talk about would be the Zulu people. The Zulu people is the largest ethnic group in all of South Africa. They like to often use maize as a staple and incorporate local vegetables, creating hearty and flavorful meats. So they really like to use these vegetables to kind of bring out the flavor of the meat, and the vegetables are like a co-star to making the meat so flavorful and rich and hearty. And their signature dishes are samp, which is made from dried corn kernels, which is the one you can see up top. Kind of looks like Rice Krispies a little bit. And basically these kernels have been pounded and chopped until broken. And then there's biltong, which is a form of dried and cured meat, ranging from things like beef or ostrich, among other things. And I like to compare it to me. It looks like, and it probably tastes similar to the beef jerky we have in the United States here, but they like to use things like ostrich, like I said, and among other exotic animals. And I'd actually be interested in trying it because I bet it's super tasty and flavorful, especially with the unique meats that they use. The next group I'd like to talk about is the Afrikaners. So the Afrikaners are a South African ethnic group that descends from Dutch settlers that first arrived in South Africa in 1652. As far as their staple, their cultural staple is braai, which basically in English, the word braai translates to barbecue or grill. Braai is the concept of cooking meat over an open flame, and it has ancient roots in South Africa. Over the last hundreds of years they've been doing it. So as you can see there, it's kind of similar to the barbecue grills that we have here in the United States. I'd compare it more to a charcoal grill because they're actually using charcoal and not gas, which is more of a natural way to do it. So they just light the charcoal at the bottom and then the flame ignites, and then the severe heat of that open flame will just cook their meat and make it super tasty and give it like kind of a charred taste, similar if you ever had charcoal grilled meats. That's what I compare it to. But yeah, looks super good. And then the last group that I'd like to go over and talk about would be the Indian community. The Indian community primarily descended from indentured laborers. They've done a great job of introducing spices and flavors to South Africa, which led to their most popular dish, bunny chow. As you can see in the picture, bunny chow is a hollowed out bread filled with curry and reflects a fusion of Indian and local ingredients. I think it's kind of cool how the Indians came over and brought some of their ideas and combined it with ones that were already there in South Africa in food, and just the fusion of their foods makes it super unique and overall really, really tasty. If you've had curry before, it's very unique flavor, and combined with some of the South Africa flavors, it makes for a really cool, really awesome dish. The cool thing about bunny chow is it can be eaten as dinner, lunch, or even a snack. So it's kind of like a go-to meal for the Indians and other people in South Africa. And then some of the other foods that have become popular in South Africa are chicken tikka, vindaloo, and chutney. I'm not a big Indian food person, but it actually looks pretty good. I'd be willing to try these things. So lastly, I just want to talk about South Africa's not only diversity and the diversity of cuisine and how it helps the country come together. Even there's a lot of different ethnic groups in the country, and this food really unites them as one country, bringing their cultures together and making just one unite country. So at the end of the day, to me, what makes South Africa so special is that its cuisine is a remarkable reflection of its ethnic diversity that coexists within the borders of the country. Whether it's the Zulu people, the Afrikaners, the Indians, or many of the countless other ethnic groups in South Africa, they all equally contribute to the unique ingredients, techniques, and flavors of what makes up the cuisine as a country as a whole. These dishes not only highlight regional ingredients, but also they tell stories of heritage and resilience, and the fusion of flavors and traditions makes South Africa cuisine not just a feast, but also a celebration of cultural identity, helping with this sense of unity that is truly special. after researching this country, I would say I would actually like to visit this country. It just seems like such a unique place where you can experience so many different things within a country and see so many different cultures. I think overall it'd be a great time just trying so many different types of foods and meeting so many different types of new people. And yeah. And then my last slide is just all the references that I had in this project. So I just thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And yeah, thanks.